Neville, one word answers, my friend. So, obviously, looking back on your career, glittering career, been there, done it, amateurs, professional, you're still in boxing today. Who would you have said, who was the person you look back on your amateur career, who was the best you ever fought? One word answer.
Paul Harding.
Right, where was he from?
Liverpool.
Right, okay. Right, who was the hardest you've ever been hit by as an amateur?
Amateur? Paul Harding.
Right, okay. Right, professional. Who was the best you ever shared the ring with?
Dave Collins.
Right, okay. Who was the hardest anyone ever hit you where you saw stars as a pro?
Willie Quinn.
Oh, Scottish Willie Quinn. Right, okay. Right.
And that first was one of the fights where I couldn't move my back. And I went forward in training, so I was stuck. But one word answer, sorry. Willie Quinn.
Right, okay. Who was the best as an amateur? You know, you growing up and you were around... what year were you born, sorry?
66. So
you will have been around... your Bens and all that, your Rod Douglases. And
yeah.
Who was the one as an amateur, grown up as a young lad, that you just thought, wow, you are going to be a superstar?
There's a few actually. I thought Nigel Benn would be going places. I thought Rod Douglas would be going places. These are people I was watching because of my weight cuts. Rod Douglas took me on the pads once because I remember sparring Rod. I need to answer questions, but Rod Douglas took me on the pads one day and he said, I can't believe how hard you hit. But when I sparred you, I was trying to take you out. I goes, yeah, I'd noticed that.
Yeah.
And he said, yeah, go on.
Of course, he won 4 ABAs and actually was the only guy to ever beat Nigel Benn.
Yeah, and also, he was too early a fight to box Errol Bomber Graham.
Yeah, oh God, yeah, I mean, that was one of Mickey Duff's rare mistakes. But anyway, going back to it, so obviously you grew up, young kid, juniors, youth, and so that's the name that you've chosen. Right, who was the best as a pro you ever sparred with? Like, whole career?
Chris Pryor.
Right, okay.
Probably at the time, down in London, and I've lost some really good guys, but I don't know their names.
Yeah.
But they'll give me worries.
Who was the best name you sparred with as an amateur?
Errol Bomber Graham.
Right, okay. And your standout pro, when you were training, right, did you ever train alongside anyone? You've trained alongside them all, your Nazes and all that kind of thing. Was there anyone you trained with, or you were watching, or you went on any camps with, or you just thought you were mind-blowing?
I was never in a camp. I always trained from home. The closest I got to a camp was training at Brendan Ingalls on the lines. And I've seen a lot of great fighters coming down here, Johnny Nelson, Errol, Brian Anderson. I just be throwing names out there. But obviously, so I watched all of that and I watched the structure. So I've seen all of that and I've seen all the glitter and gold. So yeah, that would, I would say that's a. I boxed at Crystal Palace and I've seen all the boys there fighting over the years.
But as a pro, Neville, who was the one that you stood out in training and you saw and you just were like, wow, you're special?
Well, Naz, I suppose.
Right, okay.
I was grinding all the time. But yeah, I mean, obviously Errol, and you got the pro fighters in London I was mixing with them now and again. Yeah, I mean, I think me and Clifton Mitchell from Derby, we were doing stuff down these ways. Small time guys, really, from a small town. But we were able to move with the big boys.
Yeah. And so who was the best amateur coach you ever were around then?
Depends who you call the best. Kevin Hickey was the number one at one point. My best coach was Mickey Lynch by far. Nobby Nobbs is a pro. So many coaches to mention that every one of them I took. Jimmy Tibbs, I took from all of them.
Yeah,
all of them. All of them gave me some. I was like, I want to be fed more information, more knowledge, more data, and I could to get the ice.
And who was your all-time hero in boxing? Who's that number one fighter that you just like, wow?
Sugar Ray Leonard.
Okay. Hero in life?
Right.
Right. Yeah, do you know what, Nev? That's been absolutely magnificent.